There be a plague upon my face.
Please hang up and try again.
Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay, aka the Crohn's Ranger, and today we are talking about body image. Yay! There's a lot of things that go into how Crohn's and other IBD related illnesses can affect how we as patients and sufferers feel about our bodies. Big one is weight, and those problems are at both ends of the spectrum for us. There are some medications we're on, especially that medication, you know, prednisone, the devil's medication as I call it, which can make you gain a ton of weight and gives you what some of us so lovingly refer to as moon face. And then there's us that lose a ton of weight, can't put it on for the life of us. I think the lowest I ever got during a flare was 82 pounds. Yeah. Another thing is breakouts. For those of us on biologics, we have zero immune system, which means we can't fight off infection. So if we get a pimple, it's gonna take twice as long at least to get rid of it. And once a breakout starts, it can be really hard to get rid of. And it's just so lovely being my age and having this to still deal with all the time. And then what else? Going along the same lines of skin problems, there are other ones that are caused just from Crohn's. Doesn't matter if you're on biologics or not. And those are things like Erythema nodosum, which I've had several times, usually when I'm having my worst flares, and those are little sores. Well, some of them get about this big, about quarter sized, and they're hard, and they're puffed out and round, and they're hot, and they're painful. They make it hard to walk. They make it hard to stand. They make it hard to really just get around. I had to use a cane for a while because it hurt so bad to walk. I even got them on my hands, like around my fingers, my wrists, and down along by my elbows and stuff. They would pop up too. Another thing is scars. There are very few Crohn's patients that I know that don't have any scars, whether they be from surgery or PICC lines or ports or drain tubes or fistulas. We've all got them. Another thing is, especially with those scars, especially like surgery, especially if you can't have keyhole surgery, if they cut your ass open like they did to me, they cut you all the way open and pull those muscles apart and sew them back together. They're not going to sew back perfectly the way they were before, so things can kind of be misshapen or can fold differently than it did before. Just your stomach never looks the same again, that's for sure. No matter what you do, your stomach never is ever going to look the same again. Another thing that can cause body image issues is if you have some type of apparatus hanging off of you, whether that's bags, tubes, setons, or stents. Some people have stents as well. These things can make it really hard to, number one, feel good about the way that you look, and number two, the clothes you wear. It can be extremely difficult to find things that fit around the apparatus because you have to accommodate that now, and that you feel comfortable in, that camouflages things the right way, that hides stuff. at the same time making you feel like you have control over what you wear and the style of clothes that you wear. And that can be really extremely difficult, because for me it was really hard. I was very used to dressing a certain way, and trying to dress around an ostomy bag is extremely difficult, especially if you have a high output like I do. You know, pants have to be low enough to go underneath the bag, or because I can't wear pants over the bag because it's not comfortable for me. I'm too afraid that it's too constrictive, and that, you know, I might pop or something, or it's too constrictive around it, and I just don't feel comfortable covering the bag with anything super tight. It just kind of freaks me out. But there are ways around it, ways to camouflage that, and a lot of the social media groups are really good about sharing those kind of tips about how to camouflage a bag, or camouflage this, camouflage that, certain trends and styles that work for people that have things that they need to hide or are more comfortable hiding. Another thing that kind of goes with body image is a lot of us have protein and vitamin deficiencies, which causes things like hair loss. Mine is finally starting to grow back, yay. But yeah, your hair, it'll fall out in clumps, and it's just insane. And things like nails breaking off, teeth. It fucks with your teeth. A lot of people have tooth loss, tooth decay, receding gums, all that kind of stuff. And also, being vitamin deficient and protein deficient, your skin tone can be very gaunt, colorless, bags under your eyes, real dark circles around your eyes. You can look jaundiced, all that kind of stuff. Another thing is, when you are protein deficient and vitamin deficient, it can be hard to build any kind of muscle tone, especially for those of us that have a really hard time maintaining our weight and putting weight on. It can be really hard to gain any kind of muscle back. It can, because I mean, I went to physical therapy for months after I got my ostomy, and it was really, really hard to get even 20% back of what I used to have as far as muscle tone. And I've not been the best about keeping up with those exercises, and so I've lost like half of that. That's my dog. One of my dogs. Hi baby. You go lay down. I'm trying to film. Go lay down. He wants attention. Let's see. And then what I'm really getting at is self-esteem issues for those of us that are sick, because self-esteem, unfortunately, in this society is tied a lot to body image and how we feel about the way that we look. And that's just something that that's another thing that we have to deal with. We have to be okay with how we look, and that can be extremely hard with all the stuff we have to deal with, and especially if I'm being completely honest here, which I'm sure that's what I'm trying to gain with these videos, is being extremely honest with everyone. I was a person who put a lot of emphasis on the way I looked, the way my body looked, the clothes that I wore, how I was perceived physically was a huge part of who I was, and somewhat still am. And I think that's just the way I'm always going to be. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know. It's probably more bad than good. And it's something that I have to he's playing with his toy now. Aldo, stop it! It's something Although, something that I have to reconcile and come to terms with is that you kind of have to adjust what's important in your life when you're dealing with all these issues. And the biggest hurdle I think all of us have to get over is we can still be okay with how we look and how we feel. The biggest hurdle is getting over what we think other people are thinking about the way we look. I don't know how many times I would be so scared to leave the house because of the way I thought people would look at me because of the way I looked. Because I was so skinny and so emaciated, they would look at me and say, oh my God, she's anorexic. What's wrong with her? Is she okay? And 9 times out of 10, no one's looking at you. You know, we would care so much less about what people thought about us if we realized how little perfect strangers and people out there actually do think about us. And I think this is one of the biggest psychological hurdles that we need to get over, is how we look. And it's something that I struggle with every day, you know. I just putting on an outfit to go out is a chore. Trying to figure out, okay, is this gonna hide my bag? Is it gonna poke through the fabric? Is someone gonna be able to tell I've got something, you know, hidden under here if it's full? You know, if I'm around my close friends, it's not a really big deal because I know what's up. But if I'm out in public or I'm around people that I don't know that well, are they going to be staring, or are they going to be looking for the bag to see if they can spot it? Something like that, you know. And the other thing that goes with that, and this doesn't really have to go with body image, but more with self-esteem, is my stoma is fucking loud. He's a loud mouth. His name is Stoma Steve, and he never shuts the fuck up. And so I'm always scared that he's gonna open his mouth at the most inopportune times and make those noises that they love to make, and I'm gonna get weird looks, or I'm just gonna be extremely embarrassed. And it's just something that I've got to deal with, and it is what it is, and people are gonna be fine with it or they're gonna not, and I just have to not care anymore. And that's the biggest thing. Just don't care anymore about what other people's perceptions of you are gonna be. Because if they're gonna judge you about something that you can't control, then fuck them. Fuck those people. Because they aren't your friends anyways. You know? And people out in public, who cares? You're probably never gonna see them again in your life. And these are things that I need to tell myself, because I'm still bothered by all this. Even almost 2 years after surgery, I'm still trying, you know, not to let it bug me, but it still bugs me. But one day I'll get there, and hopefully the rest of us will too. Just don't give a fuck. Give no fucks. That's the ticket. Don't give a shit. We give enough shit. So don't give a shit. But I hope this video helped, and for those of you out there that don't have Crohn's, or maybe just know someone with Crohn's, maybe this would shed a little more light on just the stuff that they have to deal with outside of the actual disease, the social ramifications of it, and the things that they deal with trying to be out in public, and the social anxiety it can cause, and the self-esteem issues it can cause. And like I said, we have enough to deal with without having to worry about what other people think about shit we cannot control. So yeah, I hope this helps a little bit. If not, I'll try harder next time. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comment. comment section. Once again, I'll put some links below to some groups or some other information that I think is relevant. And yeah, just do you.
Please hang up and try again.